On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
I'm gonna tell you guys something that shocked the shit out of me. I am huge on TikTok. Huge. Rappers, rappers, musicians, and entertainers know me from TikTok. A week ago, I got swamped in Neiman Marcus, and I took photos for 30 minutes with some A-list rappers who were there with their entourages because they've seen me on TikTok. So somebody at my age, people often ask me, "You've been divorced twice. Would you get married again?" Sure. But one thing I know different is I'm not the same mindset as I was the times where I wasn't the man I feel like I needed to be in those relationships. That's why I never talk ill of my exes. And yes, me and my ex-wife have a great relationship. She actually, she laughs at these programs, by the way. She's remarried and they're doing great. But what gets us that 30, 40, 50 years that we admire so much is not feelings. It's choosing to stay. Every day you got to choose to stay. And so that's why I say, Courtney, women in your position who maybe have not had it work the way you wanted to initially, going forward, I tell you one thing I know about Courtney. If and when she does get married again, that'll be the last time she get married. I guarantee you that. Because every day after she's chosen to be with them, and she'd choose to stay. She'd find a reason to stay.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Absolutely. And I'm excited about it. The one thing I will say about me and this time around is that the excitement of it, the excitement of being that woman that adores her husband. And that's what I look forward to. That's my career.
Mm-hmm.
It's him.
Kay, what are your thoughts? I see you very animated over there.
I was just so excited that Kevin Samuels brought up the roaches. But
I'm a nerd.
You know what?
I'm a geek. I'm fascinated with zoology and biology, and I get it. Everything. I like birds. A lot of people like birds. Some people are dogs. Some people are cats. I get it. But see, the person
I was really excited about that.
But the person who could understand that you like roaches and they're not dirty pests and they're different kinds of roaches and all that other kind of stuff would be somebody you would listen to in better faith than somebody who said, "You're a fucking weirdo for liking roaches."
Mm-hmm.
That's the core basis of any relationship. Mutual respect.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that.
And that's what we're missing today. We're missing good faith and mutual respect. And also I'm asking is for men to understand that none of us in our culture has had a time to get a reset from chattel slavery. We got a lot of jacked up information. We have had propaganda that World War II Germany would have been proud of. We've had that. Matter of fact, we can talk about that another time because I don't want to use certain keywords. But some of the stuff that's been pumped into the Black community, that's why I always am such a big proponent of therapy. And because with therapy comes an understanding that we're all broken in our own unique ways. Well, not all, most of us. And can come along with a little bit of grace and mercy. And that's all we really need is a little grace and mercy to help us get from one part to another, because Black folks have always known how to get things done. We've just forgotten. And what we have to do is go to the things that are working. Like Antona, you and your wife, people may not like your approach or your delivery. I don't give a shit about that. I care about the outcomes. And if it's working, eat the meat, spit out the bones, and say, what's working that I can actually incorporate into how I move, how I play my jazz. And then I go off and make my own kind of riff. Maybe it's classical jazz, maybe it's smooth jazz, and then find somebody who can play music with me. Instead of trying to go elsewhere, because most people don't understand our unique, Black folks' unique position. That's why, honestly, what's going on in these sectors right now is so exciting, because normally in times before, they would come and kind of mess this stuff up. But it's too far, it's too fast, too much has happened. It's on too many different platforms. It's out there. I'm gonna tell you guys something that shocked the shit out of me. I am huge on TikTok. Huge. Rappers, musicians, and entertainers know me from TikTok. A week ago, I got swamped in Neiman Marcus, and I took photos for 30 minutes with some A-list rappers who were there with their entourages because they've seen me on TikTok. My TikTok page has like 20,000 followers, but their pages on TikTok, Kevin Samuels TV, Kevin Samuels Clip, 750,000, 1 million followers. Now, if I was all about money, I'd go either tell them to shut that down or I want my proceeds. But no, it's doing a bigger good. I'm seeing young black men under 24 who, like I say, oftentimes I don't barely understand what they're talking about, but they're looking at a black man with a sign of respect and want to take pictures and shit like that. I'm like, let it rock out. Why is that important? Because black people have always had a unique way of communicating. And we have something going on right now that's affecting college to 60. We got a chance, folks, that we never had before. And let me say we didn't ever have before. When we did have these things, it met with dire consequences because they could snuff it out. It's decentralized. That's why I come to platforms like this and continue to talk, because it's bigger than me. It's about the message. And the more we can start seeing each other as allies and recognize we're better together than apart, we'll figure out a way to get it done. And that's one thing black folks have always done, figured out how to get it done.
Hey, I got a question for you real quick. Or really, I kind of really want you to, I really want you to kind of dig deeper into the therapy. You talk about it a lot in our Facebook group. I post on it all the time. In particular for black men, I feel like as black men in America, we've all suffered, especially those of us in the cities, have suffered some form of PTSD that we may or may not, that we may not have addressed. But I know you're a big proponent for therapy, whether you know you need it or not. And some of the pushback that I get is that, I don't need therapy. Like I'm Gucci, I'm good. Why are you such a big proponent for therapy?
Because I've been in it. I suffer, my particular way of makeup, my particular mind makeup is I'm an achiever. I'm a maximizer. And that's a great talent when turned to something good, but I'm also very self-critical. And then being my mother's only child and seeing my aunts with no sons or no family, I put a lot of pressure on myself early on that nobody put on there. I just took it on. And that amount of pressure can break you. And, like everybody else, you try to party it away, hook up with women, you can sex it away, drink it away. That don't work. Christian Jesus it away. Had to sit down and talk to somebody and get things that were in my head out that I couldn't do with my family, my friends, the pastor. And it was one of the best things I ever did, because I was an achiever, but I had really emotionally shut down in a lot of ways. If you say, Rilla, Kevin, tell me how you feel. There was a point in time I could tell you how I thought. Tell me how you feel. I can tell you what I think, but I couldn't tell you how I legitimately felt. I, Kevin Samuels, had gotten so disconnected from emotion, I actually had to go to a straight up emoji feelings chart: melancholy, sad, anxious, this, that, to reconnect the language of emotion. But in that time, when things in the real world were going awry, I went through a point in time where I was suffering panic attacks. That shit is scary. I ended up in the hospital twice thinking I'm having a heart attack. And the first thing they want to do is give you a medication. And I'm not anti-medication, but anxiety medications or benzodiazepines, they have a really harsh effect on your system. So I learned that there's a Western way of looking at things, medication. There's an Eastern way of looking at things, but eventually talking gets a lot of this stuff out.